Okay, so today is washing a human hair piece or a human hair wig. I'll tell you about my favorite products and how I go about doing it. I just use a simple kitty litter basin from the dollar store. They're my favorite, so there's lots of room to let them do their thing. So we'll fill it 3/4 of the way up. We'll use the Citylooks shampoo, and we're only going to use a teaspoon's worth max, not a lot. Temp it to warm water, not too warm. You don't want to ever wreck the integralness of your polyurethane top on a topper. So I want to make sure that you are not making the plastic rubbery or loosening the fibers or the knots, the hand-tied knots. So you're going to soak her, put her in just like a sweater, bring her through a couple times. So we have soapy water, not soapy girl. So just like a sweater, place her in. Can you see that? So just place her in and let her set. Let her sit for like 5-10 minutes. If you got 5 minutes, that's great. She doesn't need to sit much longer. So then I'll come back and we'll do the next part in a second.
Good.
Okay, so now she sat for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to pick her up and I'm going to pull my hand through the hair and take the excess out. Check my water, see if it's still really dirty, and then I would maybe possibly do it again. Normally one wash is good unless you're not washing it or you're in a smoky environment or in a place where they have really fragrant food in the air, like Ichiban, somewhere like that, where you pick up the fragrance. Hair is like fabric, like a sweater. Wherever you wear it, like a bonfire, it's going to smell like a bonfire. So wherever you are, it smells. And when she smells, it's time to wash her. So we would do it twice if it wasn't clean enough. So we'll just wring her through, always going in the direction of the hair and bringing her down. Making sure that you don't smack the top up too much. And let's just bring her through. And then I would dump my water, add more water, and we're going to rinse her. Make sure she's not too hot again. And, oh, getting a little too warm. And then I would bring her through a few more times. Just make sure I get all the soap out. And then dump it. And then we're going to do the conditioning stage. So what I do is I just bring her through a few times. Just make sure. Check the water. Make sure it's good. Dump it out. Now we're filling. So I'm just going to rest her here. Try not to bend her. Treat her like a padded bra. You never want to dent it or... Okay, off, I guess. Okay, so next step is conditioner. So we're going to use maybe a tablespoon, or if it, on this length, a teaspoon or half a teaspoon. Short hair, half a teaspoon. Mid-length, a full teaspoon or half a teaspoon. And then maybe like this much. How much is this much? It's a tablespoon. So no more. You don't need to waste it. Mid-shaft to the ends. Conditioner does not need to be on the top, and you don't want to loosen your knots. Your hand-tied knots you paid for, that money, you want to make sure you take care of the top. So just very, very light dusting. So I've just worked it through, and this is the Citylooks Intense Conditioner. It's my favorite. It's good on human hair, good on my hair, good on this. Actually, it's what I use in the winter to not get static. It's beautiful. So we're going to just wring her through. She starts to feel more slippy. And then I'm going to just make my water a little warmer. And I'm going to add a little bit more conditioner. She doesn't feel quite the way I want it. So I'm just going to add it in the water. And then I'm going to set her in here and let her rest again. Combing your piece underwater is really advisable. So I have this lovely comb. I love this comb for working when she's tangly or ratty. If you comb her underwater, can you camera right in here? So if you comb her when she's wet with a big white tooth, you can get a lot of those tangles out that you end up having. This is a really good way. Try it, see if it works for you. You'll know your girl and you'll find out. But for longer hair, this works really good. Conditioner in the water, a little bit on the hair, and she's just gonna have a little treatment. She's at the spa now. So we're gonna let her set again for 5 minutes. Stop. Now we're rinsing. I dumped it twice and filled up the water twice, and I'm just running my hand through. I'm holding her really gentle at the top or right at the hairline with the polyurethane on my fingers, and then I'm just holding her gently, and I'm using the clip as support. So I'm swishing her through and just gently pulling it out. I'm being very gentle with her. She's like washing a fine sweater. So now, water's still a little cloudy, so I may do it one more time, fill it up, and then just rinse her one more time. The water will run clear, but you don't want to take all the conditioner out. You still want to feel it. So now I'm going to take the excess water out, and then I'm going to lie it on a towel. That feels pretty good for me. I like how it feels, so I'll put her down. I'll comb her out a bit, and it's all about the products. If it was really ratty at this time, I may add a teeny bit of conditioner, teeny bit, and then just mitch off to the ends and just get them worked out. So now I'm going to take the excess water out just by pressing it. Never rattle her up or squish her around. You always want to be moving with the cuticle and keep her the way she grows. Never brush her too savage. Be nice to her. You paid a lot of money for her, treat her good. So I'm going to put another towel down. And I'm going to brush her out with my wet brush. And now I'm going to start parting and getting her ready to dry. So we will comb her out real easy and nice. This is a beautiful piece. We offer this piece. It's beautiful. It's can be as many clips or as little clips as you want, and you can also use tape on it, the surgical two-way tape, or you can use clips. It's a beautiful piece. So now I'm going to put her part. I know where this lady wears her part, so I'll find it. She wears it just off center a little bit, so I'll part it. And then I'm going to walk on over to my block. And you can use a styrofoam with pins, or you can upgrade to a pin cushion head, like that's fine too. These are much more costly, so a lot of people don't buy them for home. They just use styrofoams and replace them. So how I pin is I'll take my clips. You never pin through your piece, but I'll take my clips and I'll pin through the clip to get her secure to sit on the styrofoam, and I'll clip her down. So I can blow dry her and do whatever I want. This stand is available. We sell this stand and you can clamp it to anything at home. So that's what a lot of people will buy, is that. So I'll clip her maybe 2-3 times with a T-pin, and then I'll start to part her and put her into spot. The more you let any hairpiece dry on its own, the better it's going to be for longevity of care. The more you blow dry and curl and use heat on anything, it shortens its life. So if you like straight looks, then get it straight and leave it alone. So I'm going to start combing it out. And you can see she's combing out really good. She's got a little bang. So now I'll be back in 2 minutes after I have her combed out.
Ready, go.
Okay, so now combing her out and tending to the next steps. And so she's on a styrofoam head. So lovely. You can purchase these and the stands to clamp to anywhere. Put her on here, and we're going to use a wet brush. And we're going to just maneuver her how we want. So I kind of left this knot for you to see. So once you have a knot and you see what she's doing, you don't want any hair to be lost in your brush, right? So you want to just gently pull at her with your wet brush, and or get a small comb and go to just the spot, hold the hair behind it, and gently pick it out. You know, every hair is important. You don't want to lose hair. And every time you wash her, you are going to lose a few hairs. But the less and more delicate you are during this, like we didn't lose any hair there. So that's success, right? Don't rank through it. Like every hair that you lose doesn't come back. It's not growing, you know it. So then on top, you want to make sure that you don't let it sit right down on the scalp. It looks weaky, right? If you comb it all flat and tight, hair grows up and off of your head. So make sure when you're letting her dry is that you lift it off the scalp with one of these combs. They're my favorite. Don't reef on it and go crazy, but just lift it and do like a lovely little lift so it starts to look like real hair. How you let it dry is how it is when it's dry. How you let it dry is how it will be when it's dry. Whatever you do wet is what's going to happen dry. If you part it here, that is where it's going to be dry, period. You can't change it after it's dry. It's really hard, just like your own hair. So we're going to sweep over her bangs a little bit. She likes a little side part. And then at this juncture, I would smooth her out because she wants to have it smoother. And now you could let it dry overnight, or you could blow dry it. If you have the time, I suggest you let it air dry as long as possible and blow dry it in the morning when it's dry. So that's the best, I think. Less heat, longer life. Less flat iron, longer life. less curling iron, longer life. The whole idea is to keep this girl on your head as long as possible. I know that. So we can also use a little hood dryer on very low heat to speed up the process. So now I'm gonna come back after she's almost dry and show you how I finish. So she's either slept overnight and dried on her own, or you've blow dried her a little bit. Sometimes life doesn't allow us to let it dry overnight. I'll teach you some blow dry tips in the next little quick segment. Now she has sat for a few hours or overnight, so she's almost dry. I put these little clips at the bottom to make my job a little easier. So they're kind of like a weight. So if you want her to not pop up and be too curly, I'll just put these on, clip her so that we create weight and that it stays down. Some of them have a little more curl in them, so you'll find that they start to just kind of lift up. So now she's a little damp still, but not much. So I will blow dry away and through my hand. So my hand always feels the heat, so she never gets too hot. And I'll not use the high temperature, I'll just use medium. And then the next thing I'll do is I will possibly sometimes do it in sections, or I'll do the whole thing. Sometimes I'll clip it up and then blow dry the underneath, and then I'll blow dry the top. Whichever you think works best for you. You know, some of the shorter pieces you're not going to need to do that at all, and or however you're going to create height. It's just like doing your own hair. It's impossible, I think, to do this on your head. It's easier to do it on a block. Also, we offer this service to bring it in and have it washed, and you leave it overnight or you sit and wait. You just phone for a quote and prices and we go from there. So I'm going to clip her up and just blow dry her away from the hair quite a bit and stretch it a little and get her smoother. Come in close. So I'm not getting too close, and I use the wet brush because I find that the tension, there's no tension, and I get the best results in shine from her. So I'll go around and do this a little bit. Try not to go too close. Sometimes I'll hold it and blow it away and down. So just holding it will get, and if you leave it when it's warm, you'll get it a little smoother without using a lot of flat iron. See, we got her pretty straight without using any flat iron. We just let her dry with the weights on overnight and then blow drying it a little bit. So I like to just hold it and making sure that you never put your pins through the polyurethane, that you put them through the clips in a manner that you don't wreck your piece. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up blow drying, and then I'll come back with flat iron work and final products. Okay, so now I've blow dried her more, and I've switched to a vent brush to have a little more air, and I've just blown it like so with a little tension to get her a little straighter. If you're good with a round brush and you want to round brush the bottom with light air and blow it on, by all means. Another great way is to use rollers at the bottom. You can have them pin in, just stay there. I will take a roller when it's wet and use a Velcro roller and just roll her up, and I'll pin her with a pin through and just let it sit on into the mannequin, into the styrofoam head. And I'll let her dry like this overnight, and then when I open her up, she's just got that nice little bend at the bottom. Works really good. So now we're going to work on her bangs. Wherever you want volume, anytime you use a roller with no heat, and then add a little bit of heat at the end for the final, just make sure you don't take the roller out when the hair is still warm. Make sure it's cold, dry. So now I'm just going to move her bang over a little bit. She has a side bang. So I'm just going to lift it up and move it over a little bit so that it sits on the far side of her. I'll do the finishing touches on the guest's head when I clip it in, but for the most part I don't want to be yanking it all over her head when it's on her head. So I like to do as much as I can here. So I do know that she likes it that way, so we'll leave it, and I've just stretched it out a little bit, and we'll go from there. So I clip back the excess hair so that I could just blow dry it nice and smooth. it's coming along really nice. The next thing I would do is I would make sure that my flat iron is on low, maybe medium. If you're fast moving, you could do medium, but other than that, low setting. Temperatures, low. If you don't have a low setting, I'll find out the temperatures and we'll get back to you. But you want to make sure that whenever you're using a flat iron on a piece, that you move quickly. Like this one, we hardly even need to do it because I got it so nice just with the blow dryer and drying. But if we were to do it, I'll just show you how quickly I go through and put it through. So it would be very quick. So you're going to glide it down very quick and then just roll the bottom. So very soft and quick. The less heat, remember, the longer she lives. So she's ready to roll. So I'm going to talk about a couple of my favorite products and I'll just show you them. To finish with, I like Moroccan oil. It has no alcohol in it, so it's great for the pieces. And this little guy's big enough. It'll last you quite some time. So only a teeny bit is needed. Put it over all of your hands and do to the mid shaft and the ends just to stop any moshi shees or little flyaways. You'll find that it works really nice and you won't get buildup. If you overuse it, you tend to get a little oily, and you can add a little heat to it at this time just to lock down the shine. But she's looking beautiful. I think she's going to be really happy, and once we get her on and adjust the bangs, she'll be really good. And I'll do the little detailing on her head with my flat iron. But she's ready to roll. Another one of my products that I really like to use is Evo is Love Touch. It's a very light mist. It's beautiful. It's from Australia. We carry it, and it has like killer shine. I don't know if you can see that or if it showed up on the camera, but it's very light, doesn't build up. Never on the roots, just the mid shaft to the ends. Love Touch. Some of my other real favorites are, I love this one, United. It's new by Redken. It's sort of an all-in-one reparative conditioner that you leave in. It's beautiful. And then my ultimate favorites, of course, is the Intense Conditioner by Capilia. It's great on all human hair pieces and human hair wigs. Love it. When I'm getting tangles or issues, I'll sometimes use the leave-in conditioner just to get a little more slip and a little more pull. And then their hydrating shampoo for human hair. It's beautiful. This is a great line for hair on your head or hair that you wear. I hope this video was helpful. And if you have any questions, you can always email us through our website. And good luck.